Hey, it's me, MLV. Here's chapter 34 of Serendipity. This one is titled Molten Terror Ruins the Day. I told you I'd be back, the lava villain jeered with a manic cackle. And this is the last time you'll be back, Molten Terror, Deku replied as he lowered his head slightly, emerald green eyes sparkling as he locked onto his target, with the green lightning zapping across his broad shoulders. Molten Terror lobbed another torrent of lava towards Deku and yourself, as he let out a roar of anger. Deku spun and scooped you up in his arms before launching himself off the side of the building, landing swiftly on the ground below before running a few more steps and stopping. Yin, I'm so sorry. I need to take this villain out. Stay here while... Izzy, go! It's fine, go get him! You squealed, your fangirl side bubbling to the surface amid the initial fear. Sure, the villain terrified you, but Deku was just so cool, calm and collected with it when it came to fighting villains, and you loved to see that confident, dominant personality come through. Your innocent man may be cautious in other areas of his life, but when it came to fighting crime, he was a different person. You kissed him quickly, the green lightning still discharging from his skin, and you felt a surge go through you in that split second that he kissed you, the light from his activated quirk dancing in his emerald eyes, shimmering with excitement. The way he looked at you took your breath away. Wait here, he said lowly. I'll be back for you. You just nodded, speechless. Dominant Izu was next level. He turned and took a running leap at the building wall, jumping his way back up, propelled by his quirk, before disappearing over the top of the building. He launched himself up over the edge, aiming his shoot-style kick towards the lava villain, who had been slightly shocked at seeing Deku launch off the side of the building earlier. But just before he hit the villain, head-on, he allowed his shoot-style to detonate, spinning himself rapidly to cause a blast of air, and he pulled his limbs in to increase the force of the wind. Molten Terror raised a liquid lava arm to shield his eyes and roared again at the onslaught of air. Deku landed and glanced swiftly to his left. Good thing this is a waterfront restaurant. If I can just get Molten into the water, he thought. The villain was well aware that if he came in contact with the river, he'd be rendered useless, so naturally he was cautious about what Deku would try and do. He was determined to stay on the roof as much as possible, because as long as he was up there, he was away from the water, although Deku's air blast was a force to be reckoned with, as it was. The villain lobbed another wad of molten lava at Deku, missing him by a long shot, and Deku jumped swiftly over the lava spew and villain and tried to shoot-style whirlwind from the other side, trying to blow the villain off the roof towards the river. By now Deku could hear sirens, and he was hoping it was backup on the way. The band members must have run from the roof and alerted the staff's management about the villain. He continued to dance with Molten, the lava villain missing Deku with all of his shots, but neither hero nor villain could budge the other. Suddenly a torrent of water came cascading up over the side of the building, and Deku sprung out of the way just in time, but Molten was doused immediately. Just then, fireworks went off from nearby. Deku's face fell. Oh, those were supposed to go off after I proposed to Yin, he thought sadly. He ran to the edge of the building and sighed with relief when he saw you were still standing below. He waved to you and you waved back, smiling at your hero. The other pro-hero, that had bought his water quirk, helped to detain the villain, Molten Terror, and Deku excused himself to go and see if you were all right. Did you get him? You said with an excited little bounce. Yes, well, it was a joint effort with another hero, he replied sheepishly with a rub to the back of his neck as he chuckled shyly. You smiled. I'm just glad you're okay. But it ruined our dinner, Deku said sadly, his gaze dropping to the ground. No, it didn't. We'd already finished our dinner, so it just interrupted the end of our dinner. But that's okay. You caught the villain after all, so it was worth it, he replied, still hyped on Deku's dominant display. Deku gave you a weak smile. Yeah, but he interrupted the proposal, and it just doesn't feel right to do it now, he thought. You smiled. Come on, let's finish up and then head home. Deku sighed and nodded, reaching for your hand before you both headed back inside the restaurant to finish off the night. Back home after dinner, you just couldn't shake that sexy image that you had in your mind about Deku kissing you with his quirk activated, that serious, strong, purposeful look in his eye. Hey, Izu? You asked shyly as you followed him into his room. Yes, Yin? He asked as he undid his jacket, suit and shirt and took it off to hang it up. Your eyes travelled his naked back, and then he turned to face you, and you oogled his chiseled abs. Could I ask for something? You mumbled as you looked bashfully down at your hands. Of course, Yin. he replied as he walked over to you. Could you kiss me with your quirk activated? You asked softly as he stood in front of you. With it activated? Deku asked with confusion. But why? Well, it was really sexy when you kissed me earlier tonight with it activated, and just that look in your eye made me kind of go weak at the knees, he said honestly, still keeping your gaze averted. Deku blushed. Really? Okay, I guess I can do it then, he said as he activated. From where you were looking down to the ground, you saw the flashes of green from your peripheries and looked up at him. He gave you an almost smirk. Like this, Yin? He asked slowly, with a mischievous glint flashing in his eyes. The sexual tension from your end was instant. It's going to be another hot and heavy chapter. Stay tuned for the next one, chapter 35.